get duplicates basically. So if you do download 5,000 at a time, you won't end up with any duplicates, which. Oh, got it, got it, got it. Hold on, let me get into that real quick. Hold on, let me get there. Let me just share my screen to make sure you can see. So you're asking me, how do you buy these leads here, correct? Okay, so if you find a lead you want, and you said you wanted emails for every single one, and let's just do some of the filters I was saying, like under the age of 75, above the age of 26. Now, let me ask you this. Historically, are there W-2 employees, or are they 1099 individual businesses like this construction contractor? Got it. So what, like more than 5 employees, would you say? So it's going to be a lot less because, I mean, 70% of businesses have less than 5 employees. So when we do that 10 or more, we're left with 5,575. But then again, I'm not going to do it because my computer is going to freeze on me. I would take these codes and simply tell ChatGPT, hey, can you create lookalike audiences based on these industries? Because we already have all our industries right here. So, I mean, let's go out a few. Let's see how big a list we can make just for construction. I like to say this system was built by the abused salesperson. So. So you want to do the whole United States, so that's why I was showing a few minutes earlier that you could do it by just employees. So if we want to go ahead and remove, the NAICIS codes, we can go off and just look for anything with 10 or more employees and an email. So here we are. We have 547,960. So these checkboxes do absolutely nothing. I intended to remove them, and it hasn't been a high priority just because, I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody. This is how you get the leads. So here you have your credits and bonus credits. So you are on the 1,000 lead per day program. So your credits don't add up. You would have to log in every day to download the 1,000. And to do that, you can either type number in first. It doesn't really matter. It does the same thing. So I'm going to do a list of 2,000. I save list. I like every list needs to be named something differently, because if you don't, the data gets weird and the file doesn't send, and then we have to do something to untime out your account. So just make sure you name it something different every time, and preferably name it something you can reaccess, because the system's also set up where you can resell this list in the future. So you're using it today, but you can resell it tomorrow and make money on it. So I'll do an example. So we'll do B2B, 26 to 79, email only, and employees. And you don't have to date it because it's already, I mean, if you want to date it, just because it names the file when you send it, so it just saves you some time of having to redo it. Then you have the ability to select who you want to send it to. So you get to add people's emails, because let's say you don't need 1,000 leads today. This guy right here wants to buy 1,000 from you. You could send it to the system. So we go off, we hit buy list. It loads. You can take a look at our purchase save lists. Sometimes it times out. We're still working on like peak hours when people are like, there's 3 times during the day where there's crazy amounts of traffic: morning, uh, afternoon, and evening. So like between 7 and 8 a.m. Eastern. And right there, I just got the email. But I'm going to keep sharing this one screen, but it was just delivered to me. And if I hit the refresh button, I can see that I had it successfully delivered. And like I was mentioning before, you have access to everything you ever save. So as long as you don't cancel, we are a cloud for you. We host everything. So I mean, think of all the leads that you've bought in your past that you don't have access to anymore because you got new computers, or like what you were saying about the big spreadsheets. So I mean, when we thought of a lot of things, and I mean, I'm going all the way back to 2023. So if I hit this email button, we'll wait for the ding, and that'll come through in a few minutes, and then you can re-access this list. So I obviously you can see I didn't name it, and there it goes, just came in. So go ahead. It sends you a zip file to make the file small. Do you use Excel or do you use Google Sheets? Okay, so then yeah, you would just download it the normal. Do you have a Mac or a PC? It would, because at this moment, if what you download, you can't download duplicates. So even if you add a switch to change something, we don't have it set up so you can download duplicates yet because there's enough leads. So you would have to go in the next day to get the 1,000 credits that you're already given, that you already paid for, and download it. But that's why I mean, what we're gonna do soon is make it so you can save the search. So that way, once you have a good search, you can log in, download, export, and uh, you don't have a risk of typing it in wrong a second time or something. No, but I can tell you that every business that's here is here because they took an SBA loan the last few years. So and established, they had done W-2s because it was all PPP people. So we removed the people who went out of business, and we skip traced the phone numbers frequently because, like, just like an insurance lead or a solar lead. I mean, the other thing I'll mention too is we do get opted in leads. Opted in as in they opted in a year ago. We're not saying you have consent by any means to call these people or message them, but all I'm telling you is this person historically won solar a year ago, and it's very possible that they did not buy solar. Same thing with MCA. People who do it once do it again usually. So, so we can get these, and what we do is these we order a la carte, meaning we charge 3 cents for these in some volume, and they don't go into this system for 3 months. So you basically have exclusive access to what we do for you at that point in time for 3 months. Um, just like how we have this, and then, but yeah, so those are all the different things that come along with it. What, no, what other questions do you have? Uh, okay. So the bonus credits don't change. Oh, so you have all 30,000 at once right now. So you have 60,000. Oh, so you don't have to log in daily then. So Brian gave you the promotion. So yeah, you don't have to log in daily then. He put you on the 499 plan, but for 299. So you had 30,000 credits you see in your account this second. So yeah, I mean, he upgraded you. This is the package you paid for, and he upgraded you with this and gave you the download them in batches. You have to log in. You get 1,000 a day, and if you don't use them, you don't get 2,000 the next day. It stays at 1,000. So yeah, that's why you have them all at once. So he put you on the more expensive plan for not the price. He kept you at the same price. You can download them all at once right now, just because you're on the account where you have the ability to use them all in one day. The only thing is, don't save a big list like more than 20,000 because it may time out and not save correctly, and it'll email to you but empty. So yeah, I do list. I mean, I personally do 5,000 just because it's easier to keep track of. But exactly. We want you to do that because we know you probably won't use 1,000 leads a day in the traditional program, but it's set up so you can this whole thing's a white label, right? So we have the ability where you can actually pay us and rebrand this as your own company, right? So we it starts at 24.95. You get a million leads for the month, and basically you can create accounts for people and sell various things to people. Like for instance, we have B2B. This is the white label of ours, B2B database.com. And then there's lead passion, just people. So when you look at businesses and homeowners, those are skip traced. So people are already included with every business and home automation. We skip traced it to the B2C info. So basically, the only difference with this B2C info is you're going to find probably lower income people because they are not in the homeowner category. They probably rent. So I mean, like there's and also with the homeowners, um, you can filter by the incomes broke graphic, right? So the census 2020. So two things I want to point out. A, what we found is very useful is these two filters here. Obviously, we have to rename them because people will do something different with them. But the reason why is because finding Spanish neighborhoods. So let's just add 12 plus 12, that's 24. That means the remaining neighborhood has to be 74% Spanish. Um, you'll get to it. And the other thing here is you'll see there's a landline piece here. It's not really meant to reverse lookup. It's more so someone came to us with a great idea. Brian, I sell cemetery burial plots in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I need you to find me everyone who moved to Florida that's over the age of 70 so I can pre-sell them their burial plot. Obviously, we thought outside the box and think of you're 70 years old, right? There was no cell phone originally. And hospitals kept track of you on your social security number and a landline, because basically every home had a landline. It was a way up. It was a single digit number to get the person you're looking for. So these people were obviously born somewhere, and they may have moved, just like born in Scranton, but happened to move to um, Florida, maybe. So I think the area code for Scranton is 860. Actually, the code for Scranton. Oh, I was close. 570. Not even close. I don't know why I said I was close. We have it set so you can't do the whole landline. You can only do the area code because if you have area code 570, but you, as of right now, own a home in Florida, can imply that you were born or have lived previously or might have family in Scranton, and you move to Florida. So here we have, they own these properties. It's about thinking outside the box, honestly. Like that, and that's the thing. Like, and that's what we're building the next product. This is what I say: data plus data equals information. This data, not in any combination, is worthless because data, in its pure definition, isn't worth anything. It's not supposed to be usable. You need to combine data to make information products. So we're set, as you see, there's all these different databases. In the next month or so, we're having it set up so other people can connect their databases. And the third step that we're going to be executing by the end of the summer is someone like you might have a great idea of, okay, I want to add IP address and match that to home address. Well, we have data providers that have a directory of every website ever searched over the last year with every IP address. And now it's just about thinking outside the box of how can I piece this together to make a better information product, basically. That's why I'm using it based on landline, because ideally we don't have that doable by on the front end. But that this was the quicker solution of like, okay, this person was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania because they had an like or Los Angeles, right? 323. They were born in Los Angeles, maybe they moved to Florida. Or they were born in Los Angeles, they moved to Texas because maybe you're so right here, how many people we have? 456. And for instance, like here's a traditional move. Um what is the area code for San Fran? 950, San Francisco, right? And now let's look at Texas, because a lot of people have been moving from San Francisco to Texas over the last few years. And maybe they have money because, I mean, they came from San Francisco and they were tech executives and they said, screw this, whatever the case might be. Everyone has their reasons one way or the other. So, I mean, this would just be a creative way to find maybe higher income people. Oh, there's only one person from that's actually area code for San Francisco. Right. Oh, 650 or 415. I'm sorry. 415. Oh, yeah, you're in California. Are you 415? Yeah, we have 98 people. Did I put the Oh, and 98 people that are Spanish. Okay, let me actually get rid. And if you see, the filter was right because every single last name is, oh, then Mick Roberts, Blankenberg, that wrong last name. So let's actually get rid of this filter. And again, we are gonna go for three. That's not right. Negative 3%. So we have 5,097 people who come from San Francisco as a landline and now own a home in the state of Texas. And what could be very interesting is seeing when they bought the home. So depending on the that is very, oh no, that's a tax year. Never mind. Not the purchase year. Okay, these people, 2022 purchase year, 2023. Wow, this is new. When it does the whole United States. So I go blank. So people born in San Francisco, because you're also going to find people who still live in California. Keep that in mind. Like, I don't have the ability yet where you can invert it, saying, okay, everybody but Cal. I'm going to give this to my developer. That's a good idea. So you have 190,000 people that have some. Oh, look, see, they're all in Georgia. This group. Um, but another thing you can do, man, is this: the zip code landline. And if you want to just look up a bunch of areas, so let's look up 33417 for West Palm Beach. And let's look up 33410 for Palm Beach Gardens. We'll do 11510 for where I live. What's your postal code? And that's the thing, 404, and let's do some Boston, 026. You know what I mean? It's all about thinking outside of the box. And the people who have stayed subscribed for 6 months, a year, it's those people. Um, and honestly, the people who come in saying, I want to get homeowner leads for solar in Dallas, Fort Worth, like everyone does that. And they're not doing it because they thought it was a good idea. They're doing it because they were told to do it. You know what I mean? And the people who were telling them to do it probably in some fashion make money off of it. Let me actually try this real quick. So here I have these postal codes, right? Let's see if my computer crashes. It might. GPT's been god awfully. Let me close everything just to make sure. Yeah, ChatGPT's been not really behaving well since that, because they gave everybody 4.0. You don't have to be paying for it. I mean, we're doing it deliberately because I mean we need more money to make sure we have lawyers, because I mean that's a little different. You can that's directly finding people. So we're not like, we don't want to be a reverse lookup software because that's has a lot of implications. More so general searches, but we are putting the marketplace out there, and that's why we're letting people combine different databases to build those products. So we're just building the infrastructure where the average person is able to do this, like Zapier did for APIs, basically. There's two marketplaces. So what's coming out immediately, I'm hoping by next week, is the first marketplace. So Advocate Data is actually the hosting company, we'll call it, right? Advocate Data is the tech company. So what we're doing is when you log onto Advocate Data, it'll be a directory of other lead generation companies, appointment companies, and basically you have to make an account on Advocate Data, but then you can subscribe to the other vendors. You know what I mean? So we're platforming all the vendors and basically making it the ability to share the information in real time. And the final piece of this is because TCPA is, well, our immediate solution with that marketplace is appointments. Because, I mean, I'm just thinking back to my tax days of accounting. And it, basically, if you have an engagement and that engagement ends and the original act was not compliant, what happens after on the other party, in my opinion, is compliant. It's not like a live transfer where the person never hung up the phone. But if it's an appointment, they physically showed up or they invited you to their home. So that illegal engagement is now over. And now the new engagement where a new party picks up is basically you're offshoring the, because that's how you get rid of the litigators. And that's literally the only solution I see for this lead generation crisis that everyone's about to get into. I mean, it's a big reason why I built this system, because I mean, there really isn't a good solution for lead generation in the long term. The marketplace for the appointments. I actually have 10 appointments booked. I'm hoping we release the infrastructure sooner rather than later. But I might just put a pop-up in the system. It's 10 appointments in New Jersey for solar installation. And I just have to, right now we're just trying to figure out the best way to distribute it, because solar's on demand, basically, right? It's on location typically. Whereas insurance, you're virtual. So it doesn't matter where in the country you're sitting. So that's going to be the first thing to figure out. But the good thing is a lot of these live transfer companies and lead companies need a new model, and we're offering it to them. You got great transfers. You take the liability, you take the risk, turn it into an appointment, clean it up, put it on the marketplace. And then we're able to track it because they have a recording of the schedule of the appointment, and it'll just remove the personal info. So now people can listen to it before buying it. That we're not going to be selling as a subscription. Like you, the buyer of the appointments, would not be paying to use the system. It would be the person listing them that pays us. Yeah, so basically we would give the vendor a white label, and the difference is the content in here isn't this, it's their appointments. So basically, their appointments turn into age leads, and they can basically build a pipeline of reselling their stuff indefinitely. Well, no, that's the thing TCPA did. It basically broke that business model because you need one-to-one consent. So I mean, like Angie's List is one of the big companies that are screwed because they're too big. The whole business model is based on the basically ping post. In my opinion, it's already implemented because it says that they can go back in time, even though it's implemented at the end of the year. It still says that they have the ability to go back in time to find you. Not that I don't think they'll do it, not to the small guys, but to Angie's List maybe, to Zillow. And now you're getting into the next part of this thing we have. We already have direct mail and email marketing integrated into the system because you make we just haven't put it into a business model yet. It's part of the white label where people can put it together. So why? Well, it's not illegal to send mail unless you are or email unless you have a restraining order against you, and it's owned by the U.S. government. So that's the only way to do it. It's against Google's rules, but it's not illegal by any means. Unlike texting or calling, because there's actually FCC that monitors that. But um, that's it's literally boxing everyone to a corner. Like I honestly I feel like Facebook lobbied, huh? Which piece? It is integrated, but the thing is, sending mail it costs 75 cents minimum per piece, and the email marketing it turns into a nightmare because then people want you to train them on how to warm up an email account and server, how to rotate proxies. And that's why we moved out of giving people go high level because it just turned into a nightmare of training people how to be a salesperson. Um, and that's not that you need an employee to hire for that. We're not the 299 solution for that. But that's why we did it as a white label where someone just like what go high level did, we have these cool widgets. You have your own business model. I mean, the only reason I have what I have today is because I use Go High Level in my own way that allowed me to make enough money to sustain myself and build this. So that is still that isn't true in terms of it's real, but it's definitely the gray area that still exists. So originally, like before this, I didn't even know the December 13th thing was happening. I knew about the August thing for texting, but I didn't, was not prepared for the December 13th thing because I had 10 people, contract signed. They were using AI dialers, right? Like you've seen all the ones on social media, like end of last year. And they would have been compliant calling these leads because they have token. And you can go look at any lawsuit with TCPA that actually went to court, and you'll see the same defense. Your Honor, my client had a token. Your Honor, and the token is the Medicare standard. Your Honor, my client ran the DNC on these tokens, so they had every intent of following the law, but the law is so vague that there's no pure definition of what they need to do. And then December 13th happened, and they made it clear as can be, except B2B, because the only weird thing is if it's a cell phone, the cell phone has to be listed as the business number. In my opinion, for it to still be compliant, because but if they're not listing their personal cell phone as their main business line, there's the next argument in 5 or 10 years when the pipeline of lawsuits go through, and it's that basically every solution people have had today is not a solution that will be around in 10 years, other than the appointment thing's a temporary solution, but that'll get patched eventually. Then that leaves you with one other solution: compliant. or paying consumers for the very data that's in here. And every time it's sold, used, they get paid. That way you get consent 24/7. And then you literally remove Facebook as a model, and now think of how much extra income consumers get when there's no shareholders of social media. It's a very interesting idea that I want to try to do with that. But I mean, step by step. That's compliant, yes. You just have to make sure that you're not spamming too much on the email company you're using, because they can like block the emails you're sending. So what do you are you using? Do you know what Go High Level is? I have a really good recommendation. In this day and age, don't do the damn email yourself. Find some people overseas that do it really well and pay them per delivered email. I mean that is basically, you can quantify it where and where our and I do have every intent of putting a marketplace in for that, like where there's people who can do it for you, because it's a nightmare for you to do yourself, given what and basically, without having to educate and get you set up on all the different email warming up stuff. The quickest, cheapest solution: give them the lists and pay them for the emails they send, and basically pay them per delivery, not bounces. So that way they're guaranteeing that they're using their email system, not yours. They're risking their stuff, and they know the process better. So there is no specific. Do you have Facebook? Honestly, I would say that's the best place to go. I mean, everyone that I have working for me is in Pakistan, and I find more and more on Facebook that I recruit. I mean, they're some of the best inexpensive people to do, and then a lot they speak great English. The majority of them do, guys. Well, of what you give to them, but in my opinion, like, think of how much work needs to happen to get the sale you're looking for. You know what I mean? Um, and there's there might be a way where all the emails get forwarded to you. That's a possibility. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of trial and error. Is this your first time doing this? It seems like. So it's going to it's going to be some trial and error. That's a big reason why we give you so many leads, is because we want you to try different things. Like, for instance, SEO, right? People charge thousands a month for it. I never trusted anyone. I found a bunch of people overseas that I paid little bits of money to find out who knew what they were doing, and then I was able to pay them more, and those are the people I kept. So I don't know what your budget is, but I mean, if you're able to maybe go on Fiverr, right? Because Fiverr, you can do disputes and look for people. I'll do it after this. I'll look it up on your, what's it called? I'll look it up once we're done with it, and I'm done sharing screens. It doesn't freeze my computer. But that's probably the best bet. I mean, you could probably put $100 to the side, hire 4 different people at $25 each, give them the same task, and you'll see how they have their SOPs of how they report their results to you, right? And it's an inexpensive way, like you're hiring interns almost in America, except you can afford them because they're overseas. Like, I could afford them overseas, you know what I mean? So, I mean, right? That is probably the best idea, and I actually might try that myself right now. I literally actually might go give that an experimental try right now, and give them a list of like marketing agencies, for instance, for them to, you know what, let's do that. I'm gonna build a process for myself and do the same thing in a different realm, and we'll give you the same process. I'll give you the same people I use, and that way we can I know how it's working with you because I'm doing it myself too. It's the same thing. I mean, Go High Level is just a white label. I mean, we white label it. We were giving it away for free, but we don't do that anymore because it created a lot of headaches helping people manage it. But I mean, it's like 79 bucks a month. Um, it lets you build websites, send messages, text, email, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we're an app that's integrated in there, so you can move all your leads directly into there. So, I mean, if you look into it, it's probably it has its issues, but for what you're paying and what you're getting, there's basically it's putting different CRM companies out of business, and they're getting sued because of it. So they have something really good going on right now. So what I would say if you have questions, um, email support at Datatoleads.com, and we also have a button here that that I want to start utilizing, where it creates a support ticket where we can communicate back and forth. So you could go here and do that too. But I mean, we see everything pretty quickly. Like if you put it in here, I look at this like 4 or 5 times a day, so I'll know to call you. And we have another big release coming out to turn this into a messaging system. So if you sign in, it saves the info, and then you can come back and see the messages back and forth to work through issues. Because I mean, we like the feedback. The feedback helps us do better. Yeah, I mean, especially everyone does something a little differently, but yeah, for the most part, they do emailing, texting, calling. What hasn't worked recently, what people. Bye bye. Thank you.